Good morning. It is Dr. Ashley Romanchuk, and this is my focused breath class occurring live 8 a.m. Mountain Standard Time on Zoom app on the weekdays. And then I record them and post them up to Facebook on my group Focused Breath, and then on to YouTube as well. And my name on there is Dr. Ashley Christina, Kristina. I am a naturopathic doctor. This is not medical advice or treatment. This is essentially yoga. Great for anybody that is wearing a mask and wants to spend some time focusing on breathing, because with these masks, people are re-inhaling their expelled air. And breath work just keeps the lungs really nice and strong. Lung capacity increases greatly. So this is great for anybody that has any lung dysfunction, weak lungs, asthma, anything like that. Great for anybody with digestive problems, fatigue problems, anxiety, depression, and anybody that really wants to delve into yoga, because breathing focuses the mind. That's why it's called focused breath. And in a still state of the mind, we can actually move into union, which is yoga, mind, body, spirit, soul. So every morning I say, open your windows so you're actually breathing in fresh oxygen. You know, wear a sweater if it's cold where you are. If you're lying in your bed, just check in with your posture. Make sure your sacrum, the bony triangular bone between your hips, is flat on the bed, and straighten out your spine, especially your shoulders and neck. If you're seated, I always suggest sitting on a cushion and plant your sit bones into the ground so that you're very grounded. You get some call it a bowl in between your hips when you plant your sit bones equally into the ground. It also grounds your first chakra, which is very important, the chakra system in yoga. Next, we check in with our second and solar plexus. So our abs are sucked in and up. So back towards the wall and then up. Ribs over your hips, shoulders over your ribs, over your hips. Ears away from your shoulders. So you want to bring your shoulders back and down. I'm wearing black today, so you can't see me as well. And then like a ribbon up to the sky from your head, so you're really using your muscles. Proper breath work is work. Having a good abdominal system actually allows you to breathe properly, so I always suggest having your abdominal muscles nice and strong. We're going to tune in just like we do every morning, and that's just simply tuning into our breath in and our breath out. Tongue is always at the roof of the mouth behind the front teeth. This is given for any breath work. Highly suggested that you always tune in and keep your tongue up against the roof of your mouth, upper palate. So just breathing through the nose and out. Tuning into how you feel today, any bodily signals you might have. Did you sleep enough last night? Did you eat good food? Do you need to drink water? These are very basic, and unfortunately we have a society that doesn't even attune to these sometimes. So good ways to get healthy. How do you feel? Where can you change diet or lifestyle to feel better? It's simple attunement to making those mental notes and then actually doing them is yoga. So breathing in through the nose and out. Not really changing the breath, just noticing the breath. Put your forehead, your nose, and your chin to the back wall if you're seated. Okay, very easily we get a lazy cervical spine, and over time it can degenerate our discs. So having forehead, nose, and chin back actually keeps our cervical spine strong and straight, well, straighter with proper, it has a proper concavity within. Proper, what's the word, spinal, words are so difficult for me sometimes. Spine's not supposed to be totally straight. So the cervical spine and the lumbar spine have a concavity to them, and then the thoracic spine, so your ribs, have a convexity to it, and then your sacrum is also convex. So breathing in through the nose and out. If you're stressed out, you can let out some sighs on your out breath. It feels really good. You can do some yeses and nos. This simple movement helps align the cervical spine. And the upper vertebrae are built to do those movements. Starting to extend the breath in for a count of 4. And then let it out for a count of 4. Breathing in for a count of 4. Breathing out for a count of 4. Simply noticing the inner channel of the breath, and the breath rise and the breath fall is all we're doing right now. Keep breathing while I'm talking. Last week, we practiced catching the breath. So this is an attunement to self of when you actually want to breathe in. It's very important. So when I'm speaking and I'm saying, breathe this, breathe that, do that, but breathe only when you actually want to breathe in. So sometimes you breathe in, breathe out, and then you're like, I don't want to breathe in yet. So wait until you want to breathe in. Wait until that inner cue comes. So it's very important to start breathing with the divine energy. That way you get into divine alignment. It's actually timing with the divine. You want to be on the same time. So breathing in for 4, breathing out for 4, catching your breath. So breathing in when you actually have the cue, not when you're like, oh, I'm going to breathe in. You've got this inner cue of when you want to actually breathe in. It's really important. So Noticing if you have any stress or tension in your lungs. If you do, letting out some sighs on the out breath helps release that. We're going to start restraining our breath. So when you breathe in for 4, we're just going to zip it up, hold the breath for a moment. Restrain, it's called, the breath. Just for a moment, and then we let it out for a count of 4, and then zip it up. Hold the breath for a moment. Then breathe in for a count of 4. Restrain at the top of the breath. Breathe out for a count of 4. Restrain at the bottom of the breath. Fall into the place where we are restraining the breath. Explore that energy there. Explore those places. So count on your own time. I'm going to count for you. Breathe in for 4. Hold. Breathe out for 4. Hold. So I'll give you an example of my tuning in, which is really important for people to know. And a lot of people don't realize that food allergies can make them really, really feel not well. So I am not allergic to wheat, but I can't eat. So when I'm talking, you're all breathing. And this is practicing concentration, dharana, in yoga. So you're breathing in for 4, pause, breathe out for 4. In North America, most of the wheat here is now sprayed with glyphosate. And what it does is it causes the wheat to bloom 30% quicker than it normally does. Now, in the past 10 or so years, I have noticed if I eat wheat, I am extremely achy for almost 3 days. And this is only wheat from North America. I can go to pizzerias that bring their wheat in from Italy, and I'm fine. Some organic wheats I can eat, and I'm fine. But it doesn't take much. I've noticed like 3 or 4 regular Triscuits, and I'm so sore the next day. If I weren't a naturopathic doctor, I would think that there's something quite severely wrong with me. I would think I had arthritis or joint problems or something, but it's actually wheat. So for example, me tuning in, I ate a croissant yesterday, which I'm like, oh, I'm not going to be sore. And I'm so sore today, it's almost crazy. Like I woke up in the middle of the night just aching. And that is from the crap that is being sprayed on our food in North America. So if people aren't aware of this and not tuning in, but kind of tuning in, they might just be like, wow, I'm sore, and it makes you kind of grumpy. Like when you're in pain, life is difficult. Emotional pain, physical pain, doesn't really matter. It's painful and it makes it difficult. So for me in particular, when I eat wheat that's been sprayed with this poison that we have in North America, which needs to stop, And it's going to come through people knowing about it and being aware. I get so sore. I can barely even move. So my hips this morning, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I did this to myself. And this is what people do too. They know they're allergic to something. They'll go and eat it. They'll go and whatever. And even the best of it, I've done it and I need to be like more strict. And so this is where yoga comes in and teaches us, love yourself, like be kind to yourself, be the best version of you. And it takes work. It takes consistent practice. And I've practiced yoga for a long time. I've gone through waves where you couldn't get me to touch wheat. I wouldn't touch dairy, no sugar. And then we can go through these ups and downs in our health, right? And I'm really healthy. It's very rare I eat wheat. But every time I do, I'm like, why did you do that to yourself? Like you are now in pain today. So that's a very good example of how yoga attunes us every morning to our truth and how we're feeling and where we can be better, and where it's always a process. Like you don't get to a place where you're like, oh, I'm just here and I'm going to stay here. You have to be here and then consistently through discipline. Discipline is one of the biggest deals. You have to be disciplined with yourself, especially this day and age where literally I walk into a grocery store and I don't see a ton of food in there. I see food in the fresh food aisles where there's fresh produce. For the people that eat meat, I see meat, but some of those meats are not the healthiest meats. Organic, grass-fed, non-antibiotic meat is basically what you want to be eating. You don't want to be taking in a lot of exogenous hormones through your meats. And so we're living in a society where it's like you have to be really, really smart, careful, disciplined, and educated. Because it's a deception. We walk into these grocery stores and I'm sorry, but that's not all food. A lot of that is really like, it's not good. So this is an example of how I tune in and where I make mental notes of what I did yesterday. And then being like, don't do that again. Don't buy that. Don't be around it. If you can't be disciplined enough that it's like in front of you and you're going to eat it, then don't buy it. If it's even worse, like throw it out. Like I've got another croissant up there and I'm just going to throw it out because I'm like, this is not worth it. So these are good ways to learn how to train yourself into better health. Yeah, it's nuts. So I would think if I wasn't a naturopathic doctor and knew it was a food allergy, I would really think there was something really, really wrong with me. But it's all from the wheat. So it's not good. Okay, we're going to go into our very oxygenating breath. I like doing this right away because there's some people here that are just to oxygenate the blood, and so that's breathing in through the mouth and out. So very simple. Let the diaphragm just fall. Let your shoulders fall with the exhale. One thing you can do with your mind is you can breathe. When you inhale, you breathe into any place in the body where you might feel pain, and you see the breath scooping up the painful parts, and then you exhale it, and it really does help. So just breathing in through the mouth and out. This is a very oxygenating breath. So yesterday, I just introduced Shatali breathing. This is to do for the robust people that might have heat in their body, okay? If you're somebody that's cold and thin and very yin, like very not a lot of energy, this is not the breath for you. So if you're like that, just keep breathing in through your mouth and out. But if you're a robust person, which is a lot of people, robust people are warm in their energy. They sometimes have excess energy, excess weight, heat in the body, so easily get warm. Shatali breath is we fold our tongue like that, and we're going to breathe in through our tongue, into our mouth. So let the breath go in through the tongue, and then breathe out with a ujjayi breath. So ujjayi breath is the breath of the seashore. And this is essentially almost the same breath as this inhale and exhale through the mouth, but it adds a cooling factor to the body. So really good to bring the body and metabolism into proper homeostatic balance. And cooling the body for some people is how one will move more into health. So like that, okay? I really made it extra strong so you could hear me. Do it at your own time. So tongue folded like that. Okay, we're going to go into Ujjayi breath now. So we're going to move this breath that we just brought a lot of oxygen into the blood, and we're going to move it through the nadis, the meridian system now. Breath at the seashore is the constriction of the back of the throat and the upper palate as we're bringing in the air. And it sounds like the seashore coming in and out, the ocean coming into the seashore and out. So. And if you're brand new to these classes, you might want to go over my past classes as it gives all the foundational teachings of these breaths. You can totally just jump in though, and of course I'll try to make the breath a little bit more dominant so you can hear me. This breath is really only done by practice. So you just constrict it as it comes in. Kind of put some tension on the breath. I'm just going to close this window. And this breath moves the prana of the body. Prana is like chi in Chinese medicine, which can loosely be translated into energy, but it's like your life force energy. It's more than just energy. So it's a very important breath, one of the most important breaths in yoga. Okay, so. Okay, so just going to normal breath, breathing in through your nose and breathing out. Notice how you might feel. For me personally, I just breathed, like really focused on breathing out a lot of pain, and I feel pretty good now, but like crazy. It's just insane what's in our food chain, and if I can do anything as a naturopathic doctor, it's teach people to be more aware of what's in our food so that we can all change it, because nobody should. I'm not even allergic to wheat. It's the glyphosate. It's the literal chemicals and poison that are being sprayed onto our food. So I just worked hard on breathing out a lot of pain, and I feel a lot better. Like my hips don't feel like they're gonna freaking burst. God, it's crazy. Let's go into our 4-7-8 breathing. This one requires a lot of focus. Really helps the heart and the lungs come into better shape. Strengthens the upper muscles of the cervical vertebrae that can get weak and lazy very quickly in life. So breathe in for 4. Restrain the breath for a count of 7. Breathe out for a count of 8. When you get to the count of 6 and feel like you don't have any more breath to breathe out, breathe the last puffs of air out for a count of 7 and 8. When I started this breath, I could only do 1 or 2 rounds, then I had to go to normal breath and try again. It's probably the same with you. It's a breath that takes months, if not years, to get good at and do it consecutively. Very good at retraining your heart and your lungs, okay? So everybody counts on their own. I can't count and breathe at the same time. Tongue is always at the roof of the mouth. Check in with your posture again. You want that alignment. Bring your forehead, nose, and chin back to your back wall. If you're breathing from bed, this is a perfect breath to breathe from bed. Actually, like a very good breath that hits. If you're seated, you can also lie down and breathe like this. Breathe in through your nose for a count of 4. Restrain, hold for a count of 7. And then out for a count of 8. But at the very end, you're breathing out the last puffs of air. Like you're literally, when you're paying attention, you're going down into almost your hip bones here to breathe out the last little bit. It'll strengthen your abdominal muscles as well. So this is a great breath. Everybody start with breathing in for 4 and counting on your own time. So. 2 more rounds. So some yeses and nos if you feel like you want to do that. If you notice any clunk or movement, that's all right, because breathing will actually move your spine and your cranial bones. Your cranial bones do move. Anybody that thinks your cranial bones don't move, like, sorry, your breath expands and your cranial bones expand at the same time. It's actually how your cerebral spinal fluid moves through your ventricles in your brain and then your spine. So, just tuning into your just normal breath and notice how much this changes the expansion, how much of a sense of lightness and freedom can come from this breath. How you might feel now versus the start of class. I breathed out all the pain from my hips because I learned to do this a long time ago. You can breathe out pain, you can breathe out sadness, you can breathe out disease of any sort from your body. You have to tune your mind to where it is, and you breathe in, and you breathe in this fresh air, and then you go and scoop it out of your body, and you expel it from your body, okay? That's the way you do it, and that's how yogis are really healthy. Pretty sure I'm going to live till over 100 years old. Everybody's like, well, my family was old. My grandfather lived to 98. My grandmother's just about 96 right now. Ever since I was young, I really was like, I think I'm going to live to 108. And in the Yogic Sutras of Patanjali, it actually even says in the Yogic Sutras, if you really attune, you will know when you will die. So you'll know actually what age you'll live to. So I think I'm going to live to 108 years old, which is kind of cool. I'm down for that. Be super healthy and old lady, like a skeleton lady. Let's go into Nadi Shodhana. So this is the alternate nostril breathing. We always do this with our right hand. Pinky, ring finger, left nostril, middle and pointer finger are on our third eye, and thumb on our right nostril. Again, if you're new to this, you might want to go into the past classes for proper guidance, but you can also just jump in here. We're going to breathe in our right nostril for a count of 4, plug our right nostril, breathe out our left nostril for a count of 4. Breathe in our left nostril for a count of 4, plug our left nostril, breathe out our right nostril for a count of 4, repeats. We're going to do this about 20 times, and you're all focusing on your own counting and doing it your own way. Well, we're all doing it together, but you're counting. I'm not going to count for you. That's training you to do these breaths properly. You can take them into your normal life. Probably you're not going to just start doing Nadi Shodhana out in public, but this is a very good breath if you're an overly logical person, overly rational, somebody that's always in your mental mind thinking too much and needs to come into connection with your feminine side, your receptive side of emotions, feeling, intuition. Or vice versa, if you're somebody that's very intuitive and overly emotional and you need to become more rational, this is a very good breath. If you're a female that has kind of aggressive masculine traits and want to bring out your feminine side, this is a great breath. Same with vice versa. Like if you're too feminine and receptive and you can't seem to like get going in life, great breath. For men, if you're too masculine and like, oh, I can say every female loves the like feminine parts of the man that will be nurturing and kind and receptive. I mean, it's nice to have the masculine traits too, but too much of that, a lot of us females are like, balance. So this is a great breath for it. So pinky, ring finger, left nostril, and then thumb on the right. We're all breathing in through the right. For a count of 4, count on your own. We're not restraining at this point. Last round. So just breathing in your nose and out, and notice the difference of how you feel now. You need to do some yeses and nos with your head, that's alright. With your cerebellum, cervical spine. Some normal breaths, and then we're going to go into detoxifying breath, and we're done for the day. I run this class by donation, so email transfers to my email is how I'm doing this. That means it's all up to your own integrity, to be honest, which is a yogic practice. Okay, so it's all about you and God, right? That's the way this world works. You can choose to do bad things and think nobody sees, but God, Creator, Allah, Ishvara, somebody does. So that's where it's about honesty, integrity, discipline, responsibility for yourself. You're the only one in life that can change your path. So yoga teaches this, it gives the platform for this. So my email is akromanchuk@gmail.com, akromanchuk@gmail.com. I recommend $10 a class or $100 for the month if you're going to be here on a monthly basis, daily, monthly, whatever. But it's up to you. If you feel like this was worth $20, like if you have money that affords that, that's where it's up to your own integrity. And you know, some people, they don't have the money. Some people, they have an excess of money. This is years and years and years of my knowledge and practice going into this class. So it's up to your own integrity, and I'm grateful for whatever. Like, I'm just a grateful person. Gratitude is key. So we're going to go into our detoxifying breath. So we're using our drum muscle of our second chakra here. Breathing out. And we're going to breathe out through our mouth. Don't worry about the in-breath. We're just focusing on the out-breath. Your diaphragm actually breathes in for you. So we start this breath by inhaling and exhaling. We're on an empty channel as we start breathing out through our mouth. So swallow. Take a sip of water if you need, and we'll go into another round of this. Normal breaths. We're going to breathe in and let it out. Start on an empty channel. I'm going to do one more round. You can do that if you wish, and you can do it from your mouth or through your nose. I'm going to go through my nose this time, breathing out through my nose. Kalabati breath, because I love it. It's one of my favorite breaths. Shining skull breath. And then I'm going to end in an om and sit in meditation for a moment or two or an hour or however long. And you're welcome to sit with me. I highly suggest even trying for just a couple moments. Meditation is new for you. It is where a lot of the magic of yoga really happens, a lot of regeneration of the nervous system, a lot of connection with the divine. If it's the end of the day for you or end of this yoga class, have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow, hopefully. Tell your friends, families, colleagues. Spread the good word for me, please. So, breathing in and out. Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Peace, peace in this world.